Heyo, what's good, reader fam? Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm bringing you episode 2 of Bookstorm, the series here on my channel where I guide you through a bookish storm. Let's kick it off with our reader O. On today's Bookstorm episode, Jesse promises to talk about books and only books because books are life and life has no meaning if there are no books involved. Jesse the reader. Next up, we've got our book quote fortune of the week. It's time for our lives to be uplifted and enlightened by an author's words. I don't know about you guys, but I love looking up random book quotes from time to time. They fill my life with so much joy. They just make my heart so happy. They make me want to get up and do a book dance. Let's see what our book fortune will be. 3, 2, 1. Alright, it reads, there are many types of books in the world, which makes good sense because there are many types of people and everybody wants to read something different. This is from The Bad Beginning. What a great way to begin our video, quoting a book that's titled The Bad Beginning. Anyway, I feel like this is a good clapback when somebody's like, yo bro, I don't like your favorite book. Or if they call the book you love trash. You just gotta remember this quote and clap back. Bada bing, bada boom. Though to be fair, I feel like in the moment I would just panic and anger and be like, yo, your favorite book sucks. Well, you know what? There's lots of different books out there and lots of different people, and clearly we're different people, and you can go get a paper cut reading whatever it is you read. So maybe I should just carry this piece of paper with me wherever I go. That way if I ever need it, I have it on hand and I can just whip it out. Moving on. Next up, it's time for recent book pickups, sponsored by Penguin and Simon & Schuster. I've got 2 books to share with you today, and they just so happen to be the upcoming Booksplosion books of the month. If you don't know what Booksplosion is, it's an online book club that I run with Caddy-tastic and Poland Bananas Books. I will leave more information for that down below in the description. The first book that I have to show you is the Booksplosion book of the month for the month of October, and that is The Fountains of Silence by Ruta Sepetys. I have given the title of young adult historical fiction queen to Ruta Sepetys because that's what she is. Like, who is doing it like Ruta Sepetys in this genre, in the historical fiction young adult genre? Yeah, that's right. You can't tell me because nobody's doing it like her. I mean, I've only read one of her books and it's Salt of the Sea, but it left an impression on me, like, clearly, and I do plan to pick up her other books and read them at some point soon. Soon, my friends, soon! This book takes place in Madrid in 1957. We follow our main character Daniel, who is the son of a Texas oil tycoon, and he's traveling to Spain to get more connected to his mother's roots. He's really big into photography and he plans to document every bit of his trip with his camera, which is what ends up getting him connected to this girl named Anna. Oh, is that a romance in the distance I hear? Yes, I think so. While his camera does end up connecting him to this girl named Anna, it also puts him into this rather tough situation in which he must figure out a way to protect the ones he loves the most. There's a lot more that goes along with this book, but I didn't want to give too much away for you and for me. I kind of wanted to go into this book not knowing too much, and I feel like I've already said quite a bit, or at least enough. I got a little taste of what we're going to be messing with this book. One thing to add on to that though is that I think this book will end up being pretty political. But with that being said, I'm ready for this book to completely sweep me off my feet and get me lost in some book lust. If you've ever read a book by Ruta, then you know that it's full of history, which duh, why would I name her the young adult historical fiction queen if it wasn't a history-based book? As you read the story, you can just really feel the work and research that she put into getting every detail right. Her characters take on this very real form and the writing is just rich with detail. My Ruta Sepetys fanboy side is showing and I'm not even mad about it. We just can't help but stan Ruta in this house of books. I'd really like to start breaking into the historical fiction genre more. I have read quite a few, but I'd like to dig a little deeper, so having this one will help me out with that. But let me know down below in the comments if you guys have any historical fiction recommendations. This is a really big side note, but this book is huge compared to Ruta's other books. Like, she's a giant compared to Salt to the Sea. My next and final book pickup is the Booksplosion book of the month for the month of November, and that is Cursed by Thomas Wheeler with illustrations by Frank Miller. This is actually a twist on the tale of King Arthur, and this book is already set to become a Netflix series, which is dope. But the thing that I'm most excited about with this book is that I feel like it was honestly just made for me, mostly because of the fact that it's overflowing with illustrations. Like, hello, I'm drooling over here, like somebody get me a bib before I'm drooling all over this book. So this book is essentially about the person who ends up wielding the sword of power, how that person will be chosen to be the one true king, But what if that person ends up being a girl? What if a girl ends up wielding this sword of power and ends up becoming a queen? Our main character is Ninu, who is kind of a bit of an outcast, and she's been connected to dark magic, which kind of puts her on the outskirts of her village. Like, her village wants nothing to do with her. So for most of her life, she's been desperate to get the heck out of there. She wants nothing to do with her village. That is until her village is completely slaughtered by red paladins. Yikes. Ninu decides that she is going to take on the mission of getting revenge for the people of her village, which is kind of interesting because, like, she was queen outcast of the village. They wanted nothing to do with her and she wanted nothing to do with them, but now they're all dead and she's like, oh, I wish I could have been friends with you guys. I'll get revenge for you guys, even though you were all terrible to me. But I guess her getting revenge is kind of like a weird way for her just to, like, make amends with people. Like, I know y'all are dead, but don't you worry, I'll find the people who killed you and I will kill them. It's just my way to say rest in peace. And hey, maybe we can be friends in the next life. Anyway, I'm hoping this one delivers some action, some thrills, some chills, some drama, some karma, and some overall greatness. I'll be sure to report back with all my thoughts and feels. Again, these are our Booksplosion books of the month for the month of October and November. So if you want to join us, pick up these books, read them, and join us for our live shows, which have not been announced yet, but will be announced soon on our social media accounts. Keep your eyes peeled for that. Next up, we've got Bookcraft Corner, which isn't actually a corner. The name just kind of had a nice ring to it, you know, but there is a corner right there, so it kind of counts, but kind of not. Today, we're going to be making a book candle. And by making a book candle, I mean we're going to try to make a book candle, because I ain't no crafting pro. I came across this book mold on Amazon, which is actually a soap book mold. And sure, I could be basic and just make book soap, but I'm gonna break out of that basic mold and make a book candle using this mold. Not none of that book candle stuff that you find on Etsy. Smells like Rysand's wings, or smells like Harry's wand or Peeta's foot. We making a legitimate book candle, if it works out, that is. So what I'm using is this soap mold, which I will link down below if you guys want to check it out. I'm gonna be melting down candles, and I'm gonna need lots of patience. I know that there's probably a much easier way to do this, but guys, the one thing I'm good at in life is making everything in my life much more complicated than it needs to be. So let's just go with it. I cut a hole in the top of the mold to string a wick through. I threaded that through and put the mold aside. Then I took 2 pumpkin candles, cause hey, it's fall, y'all. I took out their wicks and melted them down. Once I got to the point where I felt like the wax had been melted down enough, I poured that into the mold. As you can see, I got it everywhere, which is why I had paper towels underneath it, and I also had it on a baking pan. I then tried my best to transport it carefully to the fridge, where I let it sit in the mold to take its form. And now here we are with our book candle, kind of. I haven't taken it out of the mold yet because I'm a little nervous. I don't know, I'm nervous to take it out of this because it could end up just being a disaster and I'll be really sad about it, but I guess we'll just take it out and see what happens here. Pull the wick out, cool beans. Ooh, 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 ooh. This is not too shabby. Not the best. Okay, it's not that great. It's a little rough. That's what I'll say. It's a little rough. I could see the potential. I can see the potential. That's what I can see. I could see that if I kept trying, that I could potentially end up with a great book candle. I will accept this for what it is. Not all books are perfect. They all come in different shapes and sizes, and this one definitely came in its own shape and size. Yeah, that's what I'll say. I feel like we've got to light it on fire. You don't make a candle and not light it up. Let's get that fire! Alexa, play Fire by BTS. Fire! Look at that. It's a candle. A book candle. I did that, even though I'm not very proud of that. Next up, we've got book topic breakdown. I had you guys submit bookish topics on my Instagram. Follow me at jessethereader. Hit me up. I'm gonna choose a topic at random. I'm gonna talk about it and break it down. The guilt of DNFing a book from a series you previously enjoyed. Oof, 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 oof. Here's the thing, I hate, absolutely hate, capital H-A-T-E, DNFing books from a series. Nothing hurts my book loving soul more than really enjoying a series and then getting to a point in the series where I'm like, ooh, this ain't that great. I'm not feeling this. We are not vibing together. I hate it, but it has happened many a time now. And I'm sure it'll happen more in the future, which I'm not looking forward to. It just literally drives me nuts knowing that there are series out there that I'm not going to ever finish. Like, it just drives me crazy, especially because I want to know what's gonna happen still. I just don't want to put in the effort of actually reading the book to find out what happens because I'm not enjoying the book, so why force myself to read it? You know what I'm saying? I guess I could look up spoilers online, but for some reason that just doesn't feel the same to me. Usually when you pick up the second book in a series, that's when you're like, okay, I am committed to this series. I'm gonna give it my time, my effort. I'm gonna work hard to get to the end of this series. You're pretty much thinking that you're you're in it for the long haul. You connect to the characters and you get excited for where the characters could potentially go, and just overall you're excited for where the story is going. And you let yourself get completely lost in the story. But there are times when that third or fourth or fifth book even comes out and you start reading it, and there are two different roads you could take. You've got road one, where you're still loving it, you're still enjoying it, you're still in it for the long haul. But then you've got the second road, the road that we all want to avoid. Nobody wants to go down that road. No, 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 no. It sucks. What has this author done? Where is the story going? What happened to all my characters? My babies? Everything sucks. I do have a method though when it comes to deciding if I'm going to DNF a book in a series. So if I fall in line with road 2, which is essentially where the book ends up sucking, to put it pretty frank, I don't automatically cancel the series. What I do is I wait it out. I wait to see what the reactions are for the next book that comes out in the series. More importantly, I look for reactions from people who felt the same way that I did about the book that came out before that new book that just came out. Did that make sense? I hope it makes sense. If they feel pretty meh about the book that I haven't finished yet, but they go on to read the next book in the series and they end up loving it, and maybe even explain that it was worth it to get to that point in the series, then game on, I'll plunge back into the series. But if their reaction continues to be pretty negative, then I'll probably end up not wasting my time, because time is too precious to be wasted on bad books. I ain't got time for that, you ain't got time for that, nobody got time for that. Next up, we've got most likely to. Again, I went over on my Instagram, at jessethereader. I asked you guys to submit some most likely tos, and I picked out a few. I'm going to assign characters to the ones that I pick out. Let's get it. It's kind of difficult to get into this jar. There, I got one. Most likely to spill the tea on accident. Ooh, who is a character that has a big mouth? A character that likes to spill the beans. A character that you'd never tell a secret to because you know good and well that it would be whispered into everyone's ears. I think I'm gonna go with Sumi from Every Heart a Doorway. I feel like she's the kind of character that has no filter when it comes to what she says. It seems to me she'd be the kind of person that if you were to tell her a secret, something that you didn't want anyone to know about, she'd straight up walk into the cafeteria of your school, stand on a lunch table, and just announce it to everyone. She's very straightforward and blunt and tells it like it is, so that's why she's the perfect option for this most likely to. This one. Most likely to kill a director for messing up a book to movie adaptation. Oh, that kind of sounds like a great story idea. Like, I would read that book. Somebody needs to write it. Huge books nerd seeks out the director of a book to movie adaptation for his favorite book and takes him out. Someone publish that book stat so I can read it. Thank you. My mind just keeps going straight to Six of Crows characters. Even with that last one, I was like, Six of Crows, so maybe Cass? I feel like he'd be one to be able to pull off a stunt like this and get away with it. Like, he'd be like, job done, we out of here, and he would never be caught. Next. This one. Most likely to have an aesthetic Instagram. Ooh, maybe like a John Green character. I feel like a lot of John Green's characters would have like this really like pretentious looking Instagram, if you know what I mean. I feel like Margot Roth Spiegelman would be a good character. I feel like she'd have an aesthetic on Instagram. She'd have a bunch of really obscure pictures with these really cryptic captions that would have you questioning everything, and then the post would just stop the second she goes missing. That's not a spoiler, by the way, I promise. That sounds like the best option to me. Next. Most likely to go into a bookstore and never leave. That's super easy. AJ Fickery from... What's the book called? From The Storied Life of AJ Fickery. I almost just forgot the title. The Storied Life of AJ Fickery. Boy literally works in a bookstore, so he pretty much never leaves a bookstore. Like, he walks in every day and he's there all day. A dream, to be honest. Next. You. Most likely to realize that they're a fictional character living in a book. Ooh, this is gonna be hard, but also imagine. Imagine if you realized that you were a character living in a book. That'd be weird. Anyway, for this one, I need a super smart character. A mega genius. I can't think of any mega geniuses. I'm sure I've read many stories where there's a mega genius in them, but I can't think of any right now. Blankety blankety up in here. Ooh, maybe... Victor and Eli from Vicious. They're pretty smart, they're also pretty twisted, and I feel like they would be able to figure out that they're fictional characters. And not only that, but I feel like they'd figure out a way to break out of their books and enter into the real world. But let's hope that they never figure out a way to do that. We already have twisted people in this world, and we don't need to add to the mix, especially with their level of twisted, if you feel. Next up, we've got Flop or Bop. For this segment, I pick up a random book and attempt to turn it into an album with songs. I have to do this within 10 minutes, and then I will present the album to you, and then I will decide if it will flop or bop. I already went and blindly chose a book, though I will say that I was aiming to go for a lower book on my bookshelf because I feel like those books are often neglected. So the book that I will be turning into an album today is Mockingjay. So without further ado, let's get started. As to not bore you while this is happening, we're gonna play a little game. I'm going to speed draw a cover on my face, and as I'm doing it, try to guess what the book cover is down below in the comments. Let me know what timestamp it is the second you figure out what book cover it is. Let's do this. Okay, were you guys able to guess what the cover is? I'll give you 5 more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's The Sun Is Also a Star. Don't we look identical? You guys want me to do a marker makeup tutorial? If we get 50,000 thumbs up on this video, then I'll do it. AKA, I'll never do it. Okay, I've got my track list together, but I just realized that I didn't come up with an album title, so it's just gonna be called Mockingjay. How original, I know. It also just occurred to me that this is low-key spoilery. It's not like super spoilery, but if you want to skip this part, go to this timestamp and it'll skip you over the spoilers. Okay, let's go down the track list. We've got intro, 3 Fingers to the Sky. Second track, 13. Third track, Underground. Fourth track, Smells Like Roses. Fifth track, Power Outage. Sixth track, President Snow Has Got to Go. 7, Risk It All. 8 is R.I.P., but there's an emphasis here on the lowercase r-I and the capital P. Let me know in the comments down below if you catch on to what I'm doing there. And the 9th and final track is outro, The Games Are Over. Honestly, some of these are bad, but to be fair, I did this in 10 minutes, okay? I'm pretty happy with the outcome here, but like, track number 2, 13, a flop. R.I.P., a flop. Just be glad that I didn't end up putting the track Brainwashed Bread on the album. That would have really tanked the album. But then we've got tracks like 3 Fingers to the Sky. Bop, I'd listen to that. Smells Like Roses. Bop, I can already envision myself banging my head along to this one. President Snow Has Got to Go. A bop. Catch me out there rage running to the song, pumping my fist in the air. So overall, I'd say this album is a bop. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. That's it for episode 2 of Bookstorm. I hope that you guys enjoyed this episode. Again, this series is very much so a work in progress, so things are gonna shift and change with each episode until I find the perfect format that I'm super happy with. But regardless, I hope that you guys enjoyed it. If you have any suggestions for what I should do in the future with this series, be sure to let me know down below in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. But also let me know down below in the comments what you're currently reading. I'm getting ready to pick back up The Raven Boys and read it for a 3rd time, because why carry on with the series when I can just keep rereading the first book in the series? No, hopefully this will be the time where I carry on with the series. Will it happen? Who knows? It's a mystery. We'll find out together. If you like this video, be sure to go and hit that like button. If you want to see more bookish content from me, be sure to go and hit subscribe or go and hit that bell icon and you'll be notified every time I post new videos. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope your day is bright, that tomorrow is brighter. Keep reading what your heart desires, and I will see you soon with a new video. Bye-oh!